Hello and welcome to another Villarreal Fan TV podcast. And today I have with me Alan and Robin. Welcome, guys. How are you guys?
Good.
Nice to be back.
Nice to be back. Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. How have you guys been so far?
Pretty good. I mean, if we don't look at our Champions League current record, then I'm feeling pretty good about everything really at the moment. It's
Yeah.
it's a typical
Yeah.
Marcelino season, isn't it? Like top four, challenging for everything, and then
Mm.
Champions League is just a bit of a disaster. I don't
True.
know.
Yeah.
How about you, Julian? How are you?
I'm fine. I'm very fine as well. We have plenty of things to talk about. I think the last time we spoke was in summer, right before bunch of sales. I think this was maybe right before Baena left. So we have plenty of things to talk about. What about you, Alan? How are you?
Pretty good. I mean, I'm kind of like Robin. It'd be nice to be successful in two different venues at one time, but but we used to complain with Emery that he was good in Europe but not so good in the league. So I guess
Yeah,
we've just turned it around.
yeah, we're having the opposite issue now.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah. So let's go straight into it. We can maybe start with the La Liga since that was the first competition that started. So how would you evaluate Villarreal's performance in La Liga? Because we saw in the preseason. I think we had some mixed results. We lost some matches, but and then we won big or not big, but we won impressively against Arsenal. So has the preseason results reflected? Has it reflected the league performance, or how would you rate our league performance so far? Either one, it's same. Who starts? It's same.
I'll let Alan go because I usually disagree with what Alan says. So.
Oh, okay. All right, that's right. Well, I mean, I think the encouraging thing in the league, obviously, where we are in the standings is great. But the thing that's been nice is that we've won some matches where most years I would say we wouldn't. It'd be the kind of match where we would allow a late equalizer or something, and we would just we've converted a number of could be draws into wins, and that's been good. So in that sense, from the league, I feel good, and we've also had some very good performances in the league also. So that's been nice. I think the only match where we really could have gotten more maybe was Celta, but we've played well in the league. My concern is I think that might be a reflection of weakness in the league more than anything else, because when I look at us in the Champions League, we're back to our old problems.
Yeah. What do you think, Robin? Do you agree with Alan's
Yeah.
analysis?
Yeah, contrary to what I just said, I do agree with Alan on that. I mean, I think the Celta game was actually a really good game, if I remember rightly, wasn't it? It was actually a really exciting match. So I was all for that as well, because it's like you get so many games now where it's like you have a red card or a penalty and the game just ruins it, and it's just, it's pointless. Whereas I think all the games that we played, it's been really exciting to watch us play. I've always loved Marcelino's style. Like, he just sticks with that 4-4-2. It's a great formation. It always works well with us. It's not what people are doing nowadays as well. So I think it's got that kind of new factor to it, really, because so many people are just doing, one up top or whatever. And so I think it's really exciting to watch us play. I think some of the signings that we have come in have just been really, really perfect. So there's not really one signing that I could sort of fault or say that, hasn't really adapted. I mean, some players have been slower to adapt to. I'm still not quite keen on Junior in goal. I imagine we'll talk about a bit about that, but I class him as a sort of signing, really. But I think it's just been great. Some of the results have been pretty amazing. Like I said, Champions League is a real. It's not great at the moment, but at the end of it all, I do kind of I think our goal really was to just focus on the league. I mean, that was kind of what Emery did. Emery just went into it, just really focusing on the Champions League, and I kind of felt that was quite a selfish thing for him. He was just trying to really push his own credentials, where I feel like Marcelino wants to focus on the league and also wants to give the Champions League a good shot. So. Yeah, see where we are. I think I'm pretty positive about it, I guess, though. How about, apart from that Paphos last game, that was just diabolical. But what do you reckon, Jim? What do you reckon?
No, I mean, you guys basically summed it up how I feel. Also, I feel the same way. I mean, um, I think ever since Emery left, we have been very like shaky in both tournaments. So it's finally good to have some consistent performances, especially in the league. So for me, I was a little bit against how Emery like focused on so much on Champions League. Although he got results and we were in the semifinals and won the trophy in the Europa League, I yeah, I missed stability in the league as well. We had a lot of draws. I remember we had a lot of 1-1, 2-2s. So it's kind of refreshing to see how we are like beating. Like usually we struggle against teams, below sixth, seventh place, but now we are beating them convincingly. Losing only to so far lost to the better teams and Atletico and Real Madrid. So I'm happy, but at the same time, as you guys mentioned, we have been poor in Champions League. So we can talk about like the Champions League as well, because I feel maybe Marcelino he wants maybe longevity. I think he wants us to play in Champions League or at least Europa League each year. So maybe that can explain why we struggle. I don't know why. So I wanna hear what you guys think as well. Like, why are we struggling so much in Champions League? What do you
Well,
guys?
in defense of Emery, I mean, I would say he was brought in to do what he did. I mean, that was, in fact, he did it a little sooner than we thought he might. So, I think the focus when he was there was going to be on Europe, because that was the thing he had in his resume that really appealed to Senior Reich. But I think I don't think that Emery had a team with as much depth as we have now, frankly. I think that what we've usually seen with Villarreal is at some point there'll be somebody who just picks up the team and carries them, whether it was Sorloth one year, or whether it was Gerard or whomever, or last year Jose Perez. There's usually somebody who just gets hot, and we sort of end up doing well towards the end of the year, especially because that person gets hot. And in the Champions League, I think it's a little harder to do that in some ways. I think it's teams can sort of prepare for that maybe a little more. It seems like you need more of a team than an individual, but I think the disappointment in the Champions League is that we do have a deep squad, and yet when we played in Champions League, we haven't shown that. And some of the performances have just not been very good.
Yeah, what do you think, Robin?
It is interesting, really, because if we look at sort of some of the results, like, there were winnable games. Like I could see you pointing to the Tottenham game. That was just a really silly mistake, like in goal. Otherwise, we would have been fine in that game. I think heads just dropped after that. I don't know if we're going to talk about that, I guess, later on. But, like sort of the Juventus score, if you look at that sort of 2-2, that wasn't particularly a bad game. Man City, we were always going to get destroyed by Man City. So I suppose if you look at it in the grand scheme of things, that most of those games weren't particularly bad. But like the Paphos game, there was just a complete lack of effort by all the players there, really. So the Tottenham and the Paphos game, I think, were just sort of real examples of that. And it's a really good point that Alan makes about the depth of the squad. I mean, possibly we can argue that the players aren't really gelling. That's probably maybe something that Marcelino is doing. He's sort of changing the squads a bit too much. Still trying to find a perfect 11. I think if you want to win the Champions League or want to do well in Champions League, you have to stick with the same squad, realistically. And I think it's also a case that he has to look at the squad and sort of drop players that just aren't performing as well. I think that there's a sort of laxity sometimes to some of the players that just feel like, oh yeah, I'm going to be in the starting lineup whatever I do, and it comes down a quite a negative route. But I feel like some of the squads we've just put out haven't been right for the Champions League games, and it is a completely different setup because you're not playing the average La Liga team in terms of the way they play. It's a completely different team, so you need that experience and players to step up, and they just didn't, I think. So, what do you reckon, Julian? How's your sort of thoughts on the Champions League?
No, you guys make some good points. Also, like we have to remember that many of these players haven't played in Champions League or at least level before. Like it's a bunch of youngsters that we have signed. So, like for them, it's probably like a new experience to play at this level. But we have some experienced players as well. So there's no excuse. It's just maybe like a combination of new signings and the level of Champions League, like the demanding and a lot of fixtures. We basically play every 3 days. So it's very you have to make a lot of rotations and you have to pick the best players, like who are in the best form, and sometimes they, so it's a lot of. But and also we have faced a lot of big teams. Like it hasn't been easy so far. We have faced City. We have faced Tottenham. We have faced Juventus. They're struggling, but it's a big team. But Pafos match, you can't make an excuse for that. I think we should have won that match. I think maybe they overlooked, or maybe I don't know what happened, but as Marcina mentioned, but it felt like the one match in Copa del Rey last year where we just didn't show up and we got destroyed. That felt like this against Pafos. Like we were just in first gear and expecting to beat them so easily, and it backfired. I'm the most important thing for me is that we perform consistently in the league, so that we are are playing in Champions League always, instead of just playing one season in Champions League and then we fell out and we have to sell players, and then maybe in 2 years we'll be back in Champions League. So I feel this is maybe so that's what I think. But you guys mentioned the players, so we signed a lot of players this summer, almost like a whole squad. So out of these new players, which one have impressed you guys the most so far this season?
I don't mind going. I'd say Malero, actually. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I just haven't watched enough football recently to hear his name said. But on the wing, because obviously replacing Pino was always going to be a big ask. But I think on the left wing, he's been absolutely incredible. He's scored a few goals, hasn't he? He's been pretty solid. It wasn't an easy role to fill. I know Pino was sort of not his best form the last few years after his injury and everything, but I think he's just come in, scored a few goals. He's done exactly what Marcelino wanted, and Marcelino has made him a better player than he was for Tenerife. So I think he's been incredible. I'm trying to think who else. I mean, strikers up front, I think, we've got Mika. I'm going to call him Mika, but because I can't bother to say his full name. But I think he's been incredible as well. He's sort of fizzled out a bit recently because I think Gerrard sort of come into his own, has been really good last few games. But as we know, Gerrard is likely to get injured at some point. So sort of stepping up. Nicolas Pepe, I know he was sort of signed. Was he signed last season? I can't remember.
Last season.
But I mean, he's been absolutely incredible. He is so much better on the right wing than he is up front. So I'm really glad that we sort of signed some strikers to go up top and just let Pepe do his thing on the right, because he's been brilliant. And also, I guess Buchanan, I know he was on loan last season, but he's been really good, really solid player as well. So yeah, all pretty good, I guess, on the positive front with players. But like I said, Malero, I think for me was phenomenal in the last few games I've seen him play. So I think he should be starting, really. What do you reckon, Julian? Who's your go-to players?
No, I mean Molero. As you mentioned, he has been outstanding the past. Maybe the past month. But for me, the player that has been consistent ever since he came, I have to give to the right back Mourinho. For me, that he has been. What a player, man! He has been. I thought losing from Kiko was going to be a big loss, but he just outperforms everyone at times. So for me, I'm more like I like the style of defenders that he has. The way he plays, he's aggressive. He he doesn't give a lot of space to the wingers. So for me, I like Mourinho. He has been really solid. And close second, I will give Buchanan actually, and he has been good. But I will give to Monairo so far. Like he has been solid as well. So yeah. And what about you, Alan? Who has stood out?
Moreno is I mean, you want a Uruguayan defender, right? I mean, you want that. I mean, he was really good when we saw him with what was Las Palmas, right? And I think he was a great signing. Some of the other ones are taking a little time to settle, I think, but I think Rafa Marin has been fairly impressive to me.
Yeah.
I've been impressed with his Vega, not as much. He's been sort of in and out, I think. But in general, I think when you look at our back four, it's a lot more. There's a lot more backbone there than there has been most seasons, and that's good. I like Buchanan a lot, although he seems to be one of these players who has a knack for sort of being in the right place at the right time. I can't say that he's always terribly effective every minute that he's out there in the game, but he just seems to pop up at the right time and has a good understanding with his teammates in the offensive end.
Yeah.
He needs to learn to smile a bit, though. But bloody hell, he looks like he's like on the border of depression every single time. Like even when he's angry, it's like what is going on for your mind? Like you're playing for one of the best clubs in the world, and you look like someone just died.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I mean, I guess I have to say though, our two most controversial signings, Partey and Solomon, I feel like we sort of spent a lot of capital and emotion and everything on who were turning out to be fairly bit players for me. And I think Solomon may be apparently there's a clause where he can leave in the January transfer window, and I think he may do that.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind if he did because I mean he played one game, didn't he, where he scored, I think, and then he
he scored.
Yeah. I mean, I certainly think we can find other players out there that we could get on there.
I don't think we need him. I mean, I mean, I think he's a better player up front than I don't know how you pronounce it. Oluwase.
Yeah.
The other Canadian guy.
The other
Canadian. I think you can fill in fine with him. I don't feel like we need him. And Ilias is still. I mean, here's a guy that was sorts of big numbers being tossed around before he got injured, and he could well be another Jeremy in a year or two. Because he's only 21. So, to me, it's like if we lose Solomon that's no big deal. I'm not troubled with that. And Partey, I just feel like he hasn't. I mean, yeah, he's useful. I'm not sure how well he's played compared to an average player in that position, though.
It was a weird signing him, wasn't it? Really, like not in a bad way, but it just felt like it was unnecessary, and it was just like. It felt like, oh, he's come on the market. Let's just take him. Really, I mean, I mean, I know there's all that stuff going on with court case and everything, and that was always going to be a very silly decision to get him. But it just felt like a bit of a panic signing, really, or it's kind of, I don't know, it's a weird signing, that one.
It seemed to me like if you were going to sign somebody else for midfield, you would not sign a 32-year-old to back up a 36-year-old.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Maybe they looked at it as since we are playing in Champions League, maybe they thought okay, this guy's on the free transfer and he has Champions League experience, maybe could be a good option. And he has played in La Liga before, but man, he can't run. He doesn't have the legs to play in this style, in the way Marcelino plays, at least.
Yeah, I think
who do you think our best midfielders are, really, though? Like, I mean, who would you start if you had a choice?
Yeah. If I had the choice, for me, number one, Pop Gay and Santi Comasania. I think for me, they are,
Yeah.
And especially Santi Comasania for me has really been impressive.
Oh, he's incredible, Comasania. He's been so good. Like I said, Papaguay, I'm not quite sure. Like he's great and he scores at the most perfect time, and he does score a few goals. Fair play to him, but he's so unpredictable, which is just it's like having Rooley in defense. You know what I mean? That in midfield, sorry. It just sounds like he's so erratic. He's a great player, and I think we'll probably end up losing him in a few years, and he'll go to somewhere in the Premier League. But what about you, Alan? Who would be your starting midfielders?
Oh, I think probably I would go with those two. I think, and everything you said about Comasania is absolutely right. He's been. Yeah. When we signed him from Rayo, it took him a little bit to get used to Villarreal's style, I think. But ever since the first couple of months he was with the team, I mean, he's been one of our best players consistently, and you know that's great. So
he's like Bruno Soriano's son, isn't he? Like he plays exactly.
Well, he doesn't have quite the telescoping leg, but
he doesn't have the passing range. But I agree.
Yeah. One day
the passing is not there, but sometimes I feel he looks too much like down on the ball, and sometimes he's a little bit clumsy. But like when it comes to energy and when it comes to giving all and winning ball, everything, Santi Comasania is so right now the most important midfielder.
He's the definition of a terrier dog, isn't he? Like once he loses the ball or something, or when he's running forward, he's just like a dog of energy. Like wow.
Yeah. I think that's what I remember from Rayo. I think that's what appealed to us was that sort of thing, and he's kept that up. To me the biggest issue is really, I guess, as for all of us, is really the goalkeeper. Luis Jr. makes some great reflex saves, but his positioning sometimes is just horrible.
Yeah, well, what do you think, Julian? Because I'm going to be really negative about him, so I feel like we probably should. But if you're going to be negative, feel free. I promise.
Okay. No, I mean, bro, I'm so mixed with these two players. I'm mixed with him and mixed with Tenos. I feel sometimes I wanted. I think it was last season. At the end of last season, I was like, okay, we can't have this guy Luis as a goalkeeper next. No. He was making too many mistakes. And then Tenos comes and he makes some great saves. He makes some outstanding saves. But again, with his passing, I'm very confused. I think he's way too calm in possession, and then he gives away the ball. And then so I was like, okay. So for me, equally they are. It's a headache. It's a headache for me. They don't seem like they want to take advantage of the few chances they get, but to be fair, the last few matches, I think Luis has, although I'll be very critical of him, the last few matches he has been performing at like a stable level, so it looks like he has maybe regained his position, but it can turn around again if he makes a few mistakes. So I'm very confused with this situation actually. So I need help from you guys.
I mean, I be perfectly honest, I don't think I've seen a single game where I felt really happy with him being in goal. It's like he might pull off one save, which is like spectacular. He's an excellent shot stopper, I guess, close range. But I just, if there's a long shot coming in or from his corners, is like Alan said, his positioning is all over the place. Like when he comes out for the ball, I have no idea if he's going to punch it, catch it, or what. And that's just not what you need from goalkeeper. And I just feel like we overspent on him, and that's caused so much of a problem, really, because I know you two have different opinions with me about Conde, but I just felt Conde was the better out of all the goalkeepers that I've seen. I thought Conde was, yes, he was a bit unpredictable. He wasn't so good on the shot stopping, but coming out for the ball, commanding the defence, just the height and catching corners, I just felt he was so much better those two are just so irrational, and that's just not what erratic. Sorry, and that shouldn't be what a goalkeeper's like. So I just feel so untrusted. And plus, when you've got kind of nervous centre backs as well, because Viega for me is just exactly the same. He's just so unpredictable, and it's nerve wracking when you see him on the ball. If you had Marin and Marin and Foyth in front of those two, I'd be fine with it really, because I feel comfortable. But that combination of those two just for me doesn't work. And I just, I feel like Junior's only been played because of the price tag that we paid for him. I feel like, Conde was in a good run of form. Yes, he had a few dodgy games, but he was solid. It really was solid. And Junior just hasn't given me that solidness. And for Terras, if that's how you say it, I barely see him playing, to be honest. But again, doesn't feel like any kind of improvement on anything. So it's a weird old signing for me, I think. But yeah.
I mean, I think Tenas is probably. I mean, they're the same age. They're both 24, I guess. But he seemed definitely more raw than Junior does. But I don't know. It's like there are times when I just want to. Junior will make some. He's a good shot stopper, yes. But boy, I'm like you, Robin. When he comes out of his goal, I have no idea what he's thinking or what he's doing, and he just doesn't seem to. On dead ball situations, he really has deficiencies, and I feel like that's something that is with Conde. I mean, he was not always the best shot stopper. I remember him giving up a bunch of goals from long range where I just felt like his reflexes weren't as quick as Junior's. But you also didn't have to worry when he had the ball. You didn't have to worry what he was going to do with it. And I think he did give some. He was a very comfortable goalkeeper to play in front of, I think, and we don't really have that with either of the other two. The whole thing was strange because I felt like Conde just suddenly, it was like he was like chopped liver overnight, It's like, oh, okay, we'll just sort of, know. And
it's like he said something bad about Marcelino's wife or something. You know what I mean? It's like he just said something wrong in the dressing room or something. Because I mean, his performances weren't bad. I mean, like I remember when he came in, everyone was raving about him, and quite a lot around the world as well. There was a bit of attention on it. Like, Villarreal has signed this free goalkeeper, really good, great moustache. And then we just switched to Junior, and I generally felt like, I mean, I've got no stat. My opinion of stats. I hate stats, but I'm fairly sure if we did a proper analysis of it, you would probably see that Conde, we won more games with Conde in goal than we did with Junior. And we certainly have, and that's one thing to note, with the games that we've had this season, we have let in so many goals in the 95th, 96th minute. And I don't think that happened under Conde. I really don't. I feel like with Junior, we have done that more, I think. So,
No, I agree, man. I think Junior, he's very panicky, and it's always that scares me the most with him. As you guys mentioned, we don't know what he does, especially in sometimes the ball is comfortably coming to him and he boxes out. Like, what's the point? You can just grab it, but he wants to it's very panicky, and that scares me as a goalkeeper. But at the next moment, he will make a good save, and then I'm like, okay, maybe he's a good keeper. And then it's like back and forth.
It's very frustrating. Because, and I think it's frustrating because, I mean, without Conde getting a chance, I don't think anybody, Marcelino included, has a real good sense of who the first choice goalkeeper should be. And I kind of agree with Robin that I think probably Junior is getting the playing time because of what we paid for him. I don't know. It surprises me that we didn't that Conde didn't get moved in the summer, and we ended up with 3 goalkeepers, of which we're only playing 2.
Yeah, it's weird. And I don't know if you guys remember, but Conde was benched. He picked up an injury, and then as soon as he came back from the injury, he was benched. So he basically got punished for being injured, which is very
Either that or
unfortunate.
saying something about Marcelino's wife. I'm going with that.
Probably, maybe the latter. When you, yeah,
Maybe he
probably.
didn't pay his bill in the canteen or something. Who knows?
I don't know. I mean, who knows? I mean, you never know what. It's
I mean,
serious.
never know.
you can get away with
You never
anything
know,
with a
but-
message. So,
But it doesn't seem. I would. I mean, granted, Junior is more physically imposing, and
Yeah.
in theory, that should enable him to command his box more effectively. I don't feel like it does always, but so I can see why we maybe made what we thought would be an upgrade, but at best it seems like it's sort of treading water. And now we're in a position where Conde hasn't played all year, so you're not going to be able to sell him this summer for anything more than you did last summer when you didn't sell him. And Junior is not exactly, I can't see anybody saying, oh, let's sign this goalkeeper from Villarreal who's so wonderful. I don't know. So I kind of wonder what the plan is this summer with these guys. You know, I have to say, I think other than that, the front office has done a very good job of reinvesting our sales. It still bothers me that we are willing to drop the release price so much on our best players when we sell them, but I think that's just something that when you play for Villarreal, even if you come up in the system, is that we're not going to stand in your way of you leaving for a good offer, because we know we can't hold on to you long term. I mean, we can't afford to pay Baena and Jeremy the sort of sums they're getting in the Premier League now.
No, yeah, that makes sense, but I just don't get how we're selling for that cheap, especially nowadays with how players like the value of the players have really increased a lot, and we still sell players, key players, for the same price as we would have done like 10 years ago. So that's like, I don't get it. It's just,
I think part of it though is it could well be that when we're negotiating with somebody, that we've definitely had cases before where players took a lower salary in order to remain with us, with the sort of understanding that we wouldn't stand in their way when they ultimately left. I don't know. It bothers. I mean, it feels to me like we could have gotten more money for Baena, certainly.
Yeah.
But the problem is, it's really, and this is something we could talk about, is that the Premier League now is so far ahead of everybody else in terms of money and talent they can grab up. You've really got you always had it, but it's really noticeable now, where the prices for players who are going to attract Premier League interest are quite a bit higher than the players who aren't. And and it's like, you can have and we've had players who are really, really good. And if you say, oh yeah, in the EPL, they'd be, it'd be 30, 40 million pounds. And yet, because they want to remain in Spain, it's like 10 million euros or something. So to me, that's the real question I have. And I guess I'm taking the long view here, but we were joking before we were on about, money in football and the whole debacle of the Miami match that fortunately isn't coming off. But it's like, how do you compete when you've got one league sort of hoovering up the best players basically at will, and the rest of us are trying to hold our own and develop players where we can get some money. And I think in La Liga, you're seeing that, because look at La Liga now compared to 10 years ago. Are you going to tell me that the 8th or 9th place team in La Liga is better now? I sure wouldn't.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting. I've always been kind of just trusting in the fact of how we do things at Villarreal. We've always kind of just got the best out of players and then sold them on for a big fee for more than we bought them for. So I think if you look at Baena in a way, for example, I think he only went for like 40 million in the end, but he was a homegrown player, so we didn't really sign him from anything. I mean, I know he had a few loans and stuff, but so I think if you look at it like that way, we have made a 40 million pound profit on him, really, because he was free. So, and the same with Pino as well. So I mean, I think Pino went for 40 million as well, which wasn't too bad as well. He's doing well, and he was always going to keen to leave. So I think if we look at the players and the fees we got, I think if we'd sort of bought them for a lot of money and then sold them for very little in terms of profit, then I think that I think it's just fine. But I think that's always how we've worked. I mean, if you look at sort of Rossi, you look at Forlan, we've always sort of signed those players for very cheap and then sold them on for a lot of money. So if you look at that, then it works out quite well. But yeah, you see, you've highlighted Eyong. Eyong is going to be one of the biggest disasters that we let go.
Yeah.
To be honest, he's going to go for like 30, 40 million easily. And what did we sell him for? Like 3? And there was no reason why we did. It wasn't like a problem or anything like that. Essentially, he said that we weren't going to get any game time. I mean, he's probably better than, in terms of youth and injury. That one just did not make any sense to me at all.
No sense. No sense.
Especially
how he performed in preseason. He was like the top scorer. He's
scored, and he scored, the matches before that he was transferred too. I'm still confused about the terms of the transfer too, because I know we have a first right of refusal if Levante sell him. It's not clear to me though that I forget what his release clause is, but say it's like 30 million. But if there's another team that's going to pay 30 million, then all that means is we can come in and buy him for 30 million first. Well, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense when we had him and sold him for 3.
I know.
Yeah, and I don't know if we let them sell him for 30. I think we get some of the money, but I don't know how much we get. It's just and it's whatever it is. Strikers, good young strikers are so rare. It's like, we had this guy, we let him go, and I don't get that at all. I mean, it feels like we could have given him a lot more playing time than.
Yeah, and he didn't seem to want to leave either, did he? I know Barcelona and everything was sniffing around him, and loads of people were, but he didn't seem to really I'm really desperate for a move. I mean, you could see he was sort of very keen on Premier League at some point, as they normally do. But we're gonna, I think there's something weird behind the whole deal with it.
Because I thought originally it was a thing like we did with Santi Cazorla all those years ago, where we sold him to who was it, Recre, right?
Yeah,
and
Malaga, was it Malaga?
Yeah. No, I think it was Huelva. It was when Marcelino was there, the first coaching job.
Recreativa.
They did.
Yeah. And so we sold Santi to them for something, I don't remember what it was. You say 3 million euros or 2 million euros, and then but we had a buyback clause that we could buy him back for like, I don't know, 5 or 6 million. And he played, was really successful at Recre. They got into the top 6 or something that year, and so we bought him back. And I thought it was something like that with Levante. If it is, that would make a little more sense. But the way I've been reading about it since, it doesn't sound like that. It sounds like it's more it's not that we have a set buyback clause. It's that we can buy him back ahead of somebody else. So I don't know exactly what that means.
It makes no sense. Like, at least I think the next best option could have been maybe the Gerard, like sort of like the Gerard Moreno deal when he went to Espanyol, where maybe
where we kept half of his
something so like that, because
I don't know.
And it doesn't make any sense actually. But I think this is just rumors. I just read, I think after when the whole thing happened and he left, someone was saying that Marcelino wanted a Champions League experienced player in striker, and then we signed Tony, who has never played in Europe.
Yeah.
More sense for him to go on loan than go on loan to Levante and then us try. Like it's just so weird. It's really weird. I know apparently his agent was a bit of a twat as well.
I did hear that, but but I'm still. I guess the only thing I would caution is that we really don't know what the terms of the deal are, and it may not be as bad as what we thought. I mean, but it's on the face of it, it seems like a very strange thing where we are going to get screwed.
I hope it doesn't end up with our chairman in prison or something really weird like that.
Well, I just think I can see sending him to Levante with on loan or with a firm buyback agreement. I can see that. I can't see sending him out there with sort of a more open-ended thing, which is sort of what seems to be the case. But no one really knows. And as usual with anything involving Barcelona, believe about 5% of what you hear.
Yeah, true.
True.
And don't forget, they have no money.
They have no money. So when they talk about 30 million, we just have to. It's probably rumors, fake news.
Well, I guess the other thing I would say, thinking about Barcelona, is, wow. I mean, the whole match in Miami just was the whole way that played out was just ridiculous. And I mean, if Barcelona were really going to get a bunch of money from the match and we weren't, that would.
It wouldn't surprise
especially like playing at home. Like it was basically our
we
home.
give up a home match.
A home match.
Yeah. Well, I bet you we're not going to give it up again. I think Tebas maybe has burned a few bridges there.
Yeah. If we go back to Marcelino and how his tactical approach, have you guys noticed any difference in how he sets up his team this year compared to, for example, last season? Or is it the same way?
I think it's very much 4-4-2, and it's very much. I think all the players are more established in their position, so they know kind of what they expect from him as well. I think he's admitted as well that he is a bit more low key than what he was when in his first time with Villarreal. He was like weighing the players every 2 seconds and really intense on them, and I think he's kind of improved his management style of not kind of really getting at players. He's still an animal. He's still an absolute tiger with them. And I think that's what we need as well, because that's what I don't feel like we've got any egos in the team. I think if anyone has an ego, they're completely, phased out or easy gone. So I think it's great, but it's a beautiful playing style. It will. I think when you saw him at Atletico Bilbao, if you compare it to sort of the 4-4-2 he used now when he used there, he often used a sort of midfielder behind that first striker, doesn't he? But seems to be very rigid that we have 2 strikers up top in each game. Although arguably you could say at some times he has played Pepe behind the striker, who is more of a as a striker. But that's kind of where I'm at with it. But I just think it's so impressive, and I love watching us play, even though we keep losing in the 95th minute.
I think the one, it's still, I mean, it's Marcelino's style. It's what he likes to do, 4-4-2 counter-attacking. But I do think that he has. It feels like the players understand what they're doing, and we aren't so reliant on that one, the Bakambu kind of guy, So it hasn't changed that much. I think what's causing problems for people, as Robin alluded to, is not that many people play it anymore.
Yeah.
So,
probably. That's true.
Yeah, we've kind of gone to 4-2-3-1 and all this stuff, and an old style 4-4-2 is hard for a lot of teams to deal with, and
that's true. Actually,
and the fact that we've got a deep enough bench that we can make a number of substitutions in the 60th minute if things aren't going well, makes it difficult also. So. I think, in that sense, I think it's a good team for the league. But I think what we lack in Champions League, to get back to that, is we have a lot of very good players. We don't have the one or two outstanding players that you can kind of count on them to pull out a goal or make a key save or, block a key shot or something. I think that's the thing that we don't quite have. We don't have Baena at his best was unplayable,
True.
Sorloth, when he had that run of goals toward the end of the time with us, was unplayable. We don't have anybody like that.
But who is the closest player, do you think, right now to that kind of player? If you guys, I have one in mind, but I want to hear you guys start as well.
I think you're going to have to give us yours because I'm stumped, if I'm honest. I need some inspiration.
And you, Alan, do you have any player who's maybe close to the sort of player that you were talking about?
No, I'm going to be like Robin. I want to hear what you think.
Lead the fifth.
No pressure.
For me, I have to say Pepe somehow. I think for me, Pepe is the closest player. Just that sort of, and Gerard Moreno, obviously, but he has been struggling a lot. But now, like in the past, maybe the last 2-3 matches, I think Gerard Moreno has been that guy. But when he was out, I think Pepe.
He'll be injured the next game. Now you said that.
Yeah. So I'm not.
He'll be injured the next game because Sid Lowe wrote about him.
Yeah, he'll run 2 meters and then pull up with his hamstring because that's what he does.
No, but I think the thing is, those players can carry us in La Liga. I mean, Pepe probably is closest to somebody who could carry us in Champions League, I suppose. But I don't know. I just feel like we don't have a player who is just at that level of the ones I mentioned that can just sort of take over a game and will the team to victory against a better team. Because playing Man City, no shame losing to them. You look at their lineup compared to our lineup, but it sort of played out the way you thought it would. There were no surprises. We needed somebody to create a surprise.
Sure.
I certainly think Pepe's up there, and I think if anyone comes sniffing around, they're probably we're going to get a good fee for him, and that'll be amazing considering how much we signed him for. But I certainly think you're right. I think that is one. If we go slightly back to Marcelino, that is one thing that we've always noticed with Marcelino is that when it comes to playing those really big teams, so like Madrid, Barcelona, or like the Man City or anything like that, we go ultra defensive, and his idea is just ultra defensive and then try and get a goal if we can. If it's a draw, that's fine. And it's almost like kind of quite defeatist kind of attitude with him. I've never seen us kind of go at a side like Man City or something and just gone all out attack or seen what we can do. It just goes ultra defensive, and you can tell him
that's true.
It's not a bad thing to do because obviously that's how you win games, but. I would like to see a bit more from that with Marcelino in terms of those bigger sides, just saying, let's put this side out and we'll see what happens, trust in the players. And I think that's reflective of that.
I agree with you because I mean, in both matches against Real Madrid and City, he went with a weird lineup using Buchanan as a left winger to maybe be, because he's a little bit more defensive player than Molairo, perhaps. So it's kind of like a defeating. You already like from the startup. You're telling the opposition, oh, we're gonna come. We're defending. We're gonna come here to defend. So
it's funny because it doesn't. It reminds me. Remember, Robin, the match in Anfield when we were there, and the guy who was our most creative player at the time in midfield, I've got to sneak his name in here, Manu Trigueros, right? And Trigueros is on the bench. And the whole idea was that, even when we were down 2-0, Trigueros comes on because we're hoping we can nick a goal late and go through 2-1, 2-2 on aggregate in those days. It's like, it's not really, when you're setting your team up, it was like Liverpool just sort of battered us for an hour, and it wasn't. So I don't know if he's that extreme necessarily right now in terms of how he is being that defensive, but it does concern me that you kind of like a little bit more swashbuckling style when you've got players who can play that way.
Yeah, I thought you were going to say, when you mentioned a creative player, then I thought you were going to say Mario Gaspar or something, because if I remember rightly, under Marcelino, he's phenomenal.
Yeah.
I certainly agree. It's one of those weird things, and like I said, you bring on Trigueros, he's not going to open up the game. It doesn't matter how big of a form it is. So you need to just go out there and just see what happens, really. And I think that's why our success in the Champions League has never really hit high levels with Marcelino. Although he did get us. Was that Liverpool game was semi-final, wasn't it, or was it quarter-final?
Yeah, semi-final.
Yeah,
semi-final.
But I remember that game. The atmosphere just killed us, really, as well, didn't it?
Well, and you to Marcelino's credit, when you look at that roster, getting them to the semifinals of the league, but it was not something that we really felt confident in, I think. And in some ways, I've always thought, you remember we won the first leg at home on that Adrian goal right at the end. Some ways, I almost think it would have been better if we'd gone 0-0 up there, because I think we would have tried to score a goal a little quicker. But anyway, I think we wouldn't be concerned. We wouldn't be complaining about losing to City, but we're complaining about going to Cyprus, and because when the draws came out, we realized that we were sort of front loaded with a couple of matches that we felt less confident in, but the corollary is you got to beat the Copenhagens and the Papos and things like that.
That's true. Yeah. Do you both think that our Champions League run is over, or can we still?
Yeah, I think it's. Yeah, I think so. I think after losing to Paphos, I think it's it almost secured that it's over. So now, it's very hard, because with this format, it's very hard. So if you don't if you don't qualify or play in those knockout matches, you're out. So basically. And we have only 1 point, so we are basically out. So we have to win. We have to win against Dortmund away. We have to win against Copenhagen and then Ajax. So I think we are out. So it's very unfortunate, but it happens. That's how it goes when you lose against Paphos.
At least we can focus on the league, I guess.
Yeah. It will be league and Copa. Copa today.
League. Yeah, I'm kind of of two minds about the format. I mean, on the one hand, it's like I never liked it when we were in Europa League and suddenly the teams parachute in from champions. But boy, when I look at when I look at the Europa League now, it's like, oh yeah, but we could win that. I mean,
no, we're not going to become one of those teams. We're not, definitely not. I still remember the one sticks in my mind was the Man United one, where they ended up. I mean, even against us, they shouldn't have been in there, were they? Right.
Yeah,
I miss the old Champions League format, because you just really knew where you stood. When you.
Yeah, this one I have a feeling what's going to happen is it's. I mean, I'm thinking that we won't qualify just even if we go on a really good run, because there are just so many other teams you have to pass. Right at this point, but I don't really like this format. I kind of like especially with the whatever they call it, the conference league. It's like at least the teams that dropped down from the Europa League gave it some quality, but the conference league now is just like, I mean, I don't even recognize half the teams, but the ones I do, I'm like, yeah, but they're not very good. And I think I do miss the old format, but what can we say?
Yeah,
they didn't ask me. They did not ask me before they changed it.
They should have done that before changing it.
Yeah.
So we have had a very boring international break. So maybe, I don't know how do you guys actually feel about the international break? Do you guys like watching the national team, or?
Oh no, never. I just completely give up and I get bored of it. I just think if they're doing I know some of these are sort of qualifying for the for the World Cup or whatever, or Europa League or whatever. But I just find them really dull. I just wish they'd do them all over the summer period, and them not, because it's like ridiculous, isn't it? You start the league and it's like 3 games in, and then you've got the bloody internationals, and it's really dull. I mean, to be fair, it must be more exciting for you, Julian, considering your team are doing so well, whereas my team are like San Marino or whatever, and it's just dull as backwater. But there we go.
Yeah. I haven't. I mean, unfortunately, I think with the World Cup expansion, it's like, unless I were a fan of, if I were a fan of, I don't know, a team that was like more in the middle of qualifying group, I guess I might pay attention. But if you're a fan of France or Spain, why are you going to get excited? You're going to qualify. I will say Italy, though, has made that interesting. But it just seems as though it's more and more matches for less and less reward. Now you've got the South America. There are enough qualifiers from South America that most of those matches are meaningless. Even the countries that come in second in their European group, that's going to be a fairly interesting list of teams that finish second. We'll see how the draw goes, but it just feels like we're playing oodles and oodles of matches, of which maybe 4 or 5 are actually important.
Are we going to lose is the African Cup of Nations this year, isn't it? So we're going to lose a few players, aren't we, I guess?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's right.
Yeah, we're going to lose some key players.
Yeah, Pepe will go because he's
Pepe, and who else?
Partey, maybe. Is he still playing for Ghana? I can't remember.
Yeah,
he does, but it's not as crucial for us.
No.
But,
and I was going to say Dan Juma, but he plays in the Netherlands and doesn't play for us anymore. I think we should need to have a celebration that he's left.
Yes.
There you go.
I will say though that the African Cup of Nations is over. It's over the winter break, so it starts on December 21st, and then it runs through something like January 18th. So we won't lose that many matches compared to some years. Of course, if you've got players who play and they come back exhausted, then that affects you. But we'll lose Ilias again, we'll lose Ilias again from Morocco.
Oh yeah, that's another one, isn't it?
Yeah, Ilias. Yeah, but he hasn't played as much, so maybe not as crucial. But I think maybe Pop Gay will be the most crucial player to leave, perhaps.
That's okay. We've got Parejo.
Yeah, we've got Parejo to stand around and boss midfield while hardly.
Ball, why not? Yeah, but he looks good.
But going back to so we're gonna play now on Saturday. So, how are you guys feeling about the match against Mallorca? It looks on paper like an easy win, but you never know with international break and players coming back. It's always like a tricky match.
We usually do pretty well against them at home. I don't. Robin, is there still the sort of hatred between the Mallorca? Does Mallorca still hate us from all those years ago?
Oh, sure. Maybe it's wasn't it over the Thomas Pienaar incident? Was it where we lost Thomas Pienaar? They lost Thomas Pienaar to us or something. I can't remember what it was.
It goes back to when they qualified. It was 2010. It was when they were going to qualify for Champions League. They got knocked out of Champions League qualifying on a last-second goal in another match. So they were going to go to Europa League. And then UEFA kicked them out of Europa League because they had Borja Valero on loan. They never paid for him. And there were some other irregularities. And then we picked up Valero. And they firmly believed that Villarreal were the ones that reported Mallorca to UEFA and all this stuff. And of course, the fact that then we went on to the semifinals with Villarreal didn't help them.
Yeah.
That's when it started. I don't know, the Thomas Pina thing may have.
I mean, I just said that because I wanted to mention Thomas Pina, because we've got Mario Gaspar mentioned, we've got Bruno Soriano.
We got Bruno, we got.
Oh, you had to put, okay.
Yeah.
Speaking
of which,
did you phenomenal goal he scored? Was it in the
yes, the one.
Yeah, against Napoli.
Oh, what a goal! The
Yeah.
biggest contribution for Villarreal, man, and it was practically from a corner position, wasn't it? It was incredible.
Yeah, it was hilarious. Yeah. Speaking of player, I ran across, there was an article in the Guardian about some Sunday League football team somewhere in London that has all these retired players on it.
Yeah.
And Jefferson Montero.
Really?
Yes.
God. I forgot he even played for us.
Yeah.
I thought you said Thomas Pina was playing for somewhere.
No.
Yeah, me too.
Montero. Yeah. No, I thought that was, I was like, oh my gosh. So, yeah, I think we should win that. I'm going to say 3-1, just because I think we'll give up a goal somewhere, but 3-1 to Villarreal.
I think it'll be an exciting game. It usually is against Mallorca. They're just a bit unpredictable, and it'll be a good game. I just hope, like, looking at that score, you've got red cards, yellow cards everywhere. It usually is with them. I just hate red card now, because I feel like it's just thrown out too often. I just wish we had some sort of like sin bin approach or something where, a player goes off for like 20 minutes or something and then comes back on the game, and it just makes it a little more interesting. But I just want to get my kind of future plans for FIFA in there. But yeah, I think Villarreal.
You want a blue card there, Robin?
A blue card? Yeah, I do. I think the moment you see a red card in like the 30th minute, it just ruins the whole game.
It does ruin,
It really does.
Yeah. Especially when half the time it's for something that you're not even sure what the foul even was. It's like, it was better in the old days when you kind of had to rip a guy's leg off to get a red card. Right now, it's like your hand is in the wrong place in the ball.
And now we have to watch it in slow motion as well.
Yes.
Yeah, that'll be my shout. If we just get rid of that rule, that'd be great.
Yeah.
But I can't imagine that'll ever happen because it's steeped in tradition, isn't it? So, what do you reckon, Julian? What do you reckon the game will be like on Friday?
I think maybe 2-1 or something. 2-1, 3-1. I think perhaps we'll win like 2-1 or 3-1.
Who do you think will score?
I think Gerard will be involved
somehow,
maybe assist or goal. And let me think.
Buchanan will be in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, it'll come on the pitch.
And maybe Comasagna.
Yeah, my thought would be Comasagna and Pepe, I reckon.
Yeah. Okay. So what's your score though, Robin? What do you think?
Say again, sorry.
What's your prediction? I think you didn't say.
I think 2-1. I'd say. I agree with both of you. We'll let in some silly goal. Junior will let the ball through his legs or something ridiculous. And Viega will just not close the ball down, and that'll be that. So I think if Foyth and Marion are playing, then I think we'll be fine. I just think, that's my prediction.
That's a good prediction, actually. I believe more that the Junior will make a mistake than anyone else. Actually, maybe he will box and then he will fumble into his own net or something.
Or maybe
Mallorca has that tall striker, right?
Monkey or something. Monkey.
Yeah, I figure Muriqi. Yeah, I figure he'll get a goal off a corner where Junior is standing at the opposite end of the goal from where he should be.
He's a crazy player. He's like a kind of mixture of Ibrahimovic and Diego Costa. Like dirty as hell, but like gets the goal. It's weird.
Yeah. Well, I had forgotten Manu Morlana plays for Mallorca. Okay. Yeah, another name that we kind of was going to be maybe a star for us, never quite did. Yeah. Anyway,
this was going to be the next.
I was going to say, what do you do?
You were going to say something?
situation. You know, like a left back situation. It's good. Like, I saw stuff in the press about today about like Pedraza, and then you've also got like what's that guy we got on loan at Espanyol, and everyone's talking about him, and he was really good. The tall blonde guy. That's left back.
Oh yeah. Oh, I forgot his name.
Yeah, he
What's his
doesn't
name
look very
again?
Spanish. He looks very
I know what
passive.
you mean, Robin.
But there's all this talk
I know
about how
what you mean,
Pedraza
Robin.
might go, and we sign him again or re-sign him. But like I said, I mean, Pedraza is my favorite player by far, and I think he gets better and better. I actually weirdly like him more than Cardona. But
You're thinking of Terats? No, he's not.
Yeah.
No, you're thinking of
Carlos Romero.
Carlos Romero, right?
Carlos Romero. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because he's on loan, isn't he, from us? So
I think so. Yeah.
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 That's going to be a headache, I think, for Marcelino.
Yeah, because actually, Pedraza
between
hasn't got as much time lately, has he?
How does that happen with us?
And his contract ends
every year. We end up with like 3 left backs that could be pretty good. It's never like, yes, this is our left back and this is our backup left back. It's like always the left backs are just as good as each other.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. Cardona has been, I don't know. Cardona's performance has been a bit weak this season. I don't know why. Maybe he's dealing with injury, but yeah, he hasn't been performing at the same level as last season for me. I don't know why though.
He hasn't been starting as much, has he? I think he seems to be. Pedraza seems to get back in there. It's weird.
Yeah.
Maybe Pedraza's learned to cross
better. He still struggles. Pedraza always, that's where I like Pedraza, but I feel his final third decision is always 2 seconds late.
Yeah, he does a low cross really well. It's just his high cross. I just don't know what he does.
Great. But then, when we had Estepinian, who was great at high cross, we didn't know what to do with him. So
I knew you were going to mention him.
Yeah. I know. Well,
he's in AC Milan now, isn't he? He's gone from Brighton. I didn't see much about that in the press because he was really well regarded at Brighton, and he's gone to like Italy or something random.
Yeah.
Oh, he did. I thought he was still at Brighton.
No, I mean, to be fair to him, he could cross. He just couldn't defend. So.
Yeah, he couldn't defend. Yeah, he wasn't. He was more like a left wing back more than a left back. So I was.
Yeah. I mean, if we. Yeah, I was looking to see when he. Oh yeah, he went to Milan. I'm not sure how.
Does that just say on your screen there? Did it just say Estepinian has no weaknesses? Because I can certainly list a few.
He went to Milan for 17 million plus 2 million.
Yeah, he should have at least 2 weaknesses there. Robin.
I'm going to complain about this website. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, he's well. Yeah, he could.
He should have at least weakness defending.
Yeah, weakness, not as good as Pedraza.
Yeah, well, Pedraza, Pedraza is. Who was it that used to call him our tank? It's like he's kind of like that. He gets going. He's not. He's got a wide turning radius though. Yeah.
I think he should be like an Olympic.
Yeah. The train. I used to call him the train.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
The train. Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, you wouldn't want to stand in front of him when he's going at full pace at you. Like, I mean, he just doesn't stop, does he?
No.
I sometimes
other way over.
That's his problem with his crossing, because basically he runs so fast he doesn't see like the end of the pitch and just forgets to turn and cross it and just goes.
Yeah. Well,
what I think he should do is just turn towards the goal and just run straight at the goal. Just don't dribble or anything. Just run. Run past the goalkeeper.
Yeah. Give a shoulder to the goalkeeper. That's it. No, he's a.
All right, guys. This was a lot of fun. We should do more often when we have time. So let's hope for a win against Mallorca on Saturday.